In this video, I'm going to show you a few different ways to format content within the Blackboard Learning Management System, such as displaying a pacing guide, welcome letter, or supplemental materials you may want to provide your students. And in order to do so, I'm going to go to the course info section of my course. And this is where a lot of us would put a pacing guide or a welcome letter. And there are a couple of different options when it comes to uploading and displaying a file, and I want to go through those. The first thing you're going to need to make sure is that your edit mode is on right here, because edit mode off will take away anything that you can use to add or edit within Blackboard. And so once it's on, I can hover over build content, and I can create a couple different things. I can create an item, a file, I can even create a folder if I want to put things inside of a folder. And I'm just going to show you what a file looks like right now. When I create a file, I need to give it a name and then browse for the item on my computer. So I'm going to go and do my welcome letter. And one thing you may want to make sure is that the item can open in a new window. I want to click yes for that one. The rest of them could stay the same. But by allowing it to open in a new window, what's nice is it will open in a new tab and students will not lose their place in Blackboard. It'll stay the same versus them going to a new page in Blackboard. You can also choose to track the number of views if you want to. That will help you see if students are looking at the item or not. And once I click submit, it's going to go ahead and upload that item into the course info section. By default, it will put it on the very bottom of the page. And that may be okay, or if I want to move it, all I need to do is click and drag it to whatever location I want that. There we go. Now option 2, I'm also going to go to build content, but this time I'm going to choose item instead of file and show you what the difference is. Again, I'm going to give it a title. And one thing you may notice right off the bat is that there is a text editor. So in the item option versus the file, I can actually write a description or include an image, file, or even a video. So in this way I could give a little description of what I'm giving students or some instruction behind it, and then I can go ahead again and browse for the file and upload it, which I will do right now. This will help us see the difference for how these look for the student. Again, when I upload an item, it's going to go to the bottom of the page, so I'm going to click and drag, bring it to the top, or wherever I want. So here you see the option of adding a file, which is very simple, bare bones. When I click on it, it opens it in a new tab, like I mentioned, which is nice. The item is a little different. It shows the attached file and then any sort of text or an image or video I want. So if you want it to look a little prettier, include more stuff to it rather than just the item itself, you can choose this option. And again, I will open it and there it goes. Now, a third option that I've been experimenting with lately is actually including something like a welcome letter as an image in my course. In fact, I did that over here. I have a new section called welcome letter. When students click on it, they don't even need to download the welcome letter or click an attachment. It just shows it right on the screen. And I kind of like that because it just eliminates one step that the student has to take to view the content. To do that, what I did is I added a content area by hovering over here. Add a content area, and I called mine welcome letter, but I'm going to call this a new area. And when you do that, you want to make sure you click available to users, otherwise people will not be able to see it. And if you do that, once again it goes to the bottom of the menu, and I would need to click and drag over here. Generally speaking, we don't really want to mess around with menu items in Blackboard, but if you wanted to create a section in which you would house additional information or your welcome letter or something like that, it's very appropriate to do that. It's fine. And so I have this new area. When I go there, there's nothing in there, and just like the course info or any other area, I can build content. Now what I did in my welcome letter one was I made my welcome letter into an image. And to do that, all I did was I opened up the welcome letter, and I actually saved it as a PDF, but you could do it from a Microsoft Word document as well. It doesn't really matter. So here we go. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller by zooming out. And then I just use a screenshot program such as Snagit or Jing or anything like that to take an image of it. And I'll do that right now. I'm going to use my Jing, and I'm just going to kind of frame my welcome letter in here. I'm going to choose to capture the image, and then I'm going to save this image to my computer. I'm just going to save it to my desktop. It can be saved wherever you want it. And now what I can do is when I go to build content, instead of choosing an item or a file, I can choose image, because I now have an image. Again, I'm going to call it welcome letter, and I'm going to go find it. I put mine on my desktop this time. And there's nothing more I really need to do here. I could do some fancy stuff, but I'm not going to. I'm going to click submit, and we're going to see if it turned out. There we go. Mine's a little small. You know, I could make it a little bit bigger by zooming out or something like that. But there you have it, 3 different ways to display content within Blackboard. A file, an item, and an image. One other thing I want to mention that's really, really useful that I mentioned up front is this edit mode, but there's also the student preview. And I think it's really helpful to use these sometimes by turning the edit mode off. Let's say, for instance, that this new area that I created was hidden. Let's say it wasn't viewable. Now, I as an instructor see it, but this little thing kind of X'd out here. If I had the edit mode off, though, I wouldn't see it at all, and that's what your students see. So it can be helpful, you know, when playing around with how to display stuff in Blackboard, to turn your edit mode off and make sure it looks okay for the students.